Hi, welcome to the toddler room. A few weeks ago, month ago, I don't know, somebody said, I'd love if you did another video. I'd love if you would talk about biting. And today, that request came back to me. And so I'm going to see what I have to say about it. Um, because biting, I titled the video Biting, Hitting, Really Normal, Typical Behaviors in Toddler Classrooms. In toddlers, in preschoolers, in babies even. Well, one of the things we know from big data is behavior that we might classify as aggressive, that a sort of untrained observer might say, "Oh, that looked aggressive to me," begins around 9 months of age, and it peaks around 23 months of age, but it doesn't end at 9 or 10 or 23 or 45 months. 4-year-olds. Um, Behavior is between a child and the environment of relationships in which they are nested, which means it's not in the child. It might be a symptom of the relationships in which the child is nested. Uh, and I'm motivated to talk about this today because I just saw something that someone said, "What? My 4-year-old is biting?" They just moved to a different classroom, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're biting. It's not out of nowhere. They're out of their relationships. I don't know this child. I don't know. I just saw this anecdote. If you can be 100% sure that this child has a secure, consistent relationship with at least one person, a grown up person, in the setting they're in, and they still have a challenging behavior, a behavior that you find challenging, there's help. But if you can't be 100% sure that that child has at least one relationship that they can rely on, someone in this setting with whom they can fall apart, they are probably going to express their need for that with behavior that challenges the adults and the children in the classroom. There's a couple things you can do in the moment. One is be there. You have a feeling in your heart when a child is on the edge and they might be that close to hitting, biting, throwing, running away. You know, do what you can do to be close by when that's happening. And as we've talked about in a previous episode, when there's a behavior that doesn't work for your setting, the child needs to have at least 3 other options, 3 other ways to do that behavior, and 3 other things to do with whatever they have it in their hands. So, if I bite a friend in my care setting, I need to hear you say to me, "Oh, in our classroom, you can bite, and you need to have this in your pocket. You can bite this chewy toy that I keep in my pocket. You can bite the one you have hanging around your neck. You can bite on the edge of your shirt." At least 3 things. You can bite, you can use your teeth to bite when we're having snack. "Would you like to have some of those crunchy pretzels today?" That's 3 things, 3 ways to meet the behavior. I had that on this hand. If the child is doing something, they need to do it. And then 3 things to do with the object or material or friend that you are working with. And this is a little more tricky then. We can stack with the blocks. We can put the blocks in these trucks and drive them around. We can use these blocks to balance some things when our alternate is to throwing the blocks. But in this case, our alternate is what can we do with another person in our setting? Well, if you're really mad at your friends, you can say, "No, I don't like that. Sometimes children who are using biting as a strategy to try to start to build a relationship with at least one adult in their setting may not have the words to do that. So you might need to model for them. You can do this. Let's all agree that pushing people might be a little bit better than biting them. But let's all agree that when a child resorts to biting, they are terrified. There is something that is terrifying for them if there is another child in their space. It might not be terrifying for us. We might not feel terrified if another child wants to use the toy that we're using, but this child does. So we can say, you can give your friends a high five, but you can't hit them. So say, let's practice. High five, friend. And let's practice giving high fives. You could say, I'm again thinking of this off the top of my head, which is how you have to do it in the moment. You might have to look around and see, oh, I've got this, I've got this ball. You could give a ball to your friend. Picking something up and giving an alternate to your friend. And I'll just note too, I know a lot of us prefer not to use that language. These are my friends, these are your friends. Children don't have to be friends with the people in their setting. You'll know I'm using that instead of the name of a child. You can give Jason this ball. Here, Jason, here's a ball. I'm not done with this truck yet. I'm not sure that I answered with any helpfulness, and I've gone on for 6 minutes, so no one's gonna watch it anyway. What to do about biting? So I'm gonna come back and do it another day. I think we probably could talk about biting, hitting, throwing things, using typically developing behaviors in care settings, for a long time, much longer than 7 minutes. So I hope that you will, as I always say, comment below and tell me what you'd like and what you didn't like, how it's worked and how it hasn't worked. And I wish you well.